Do you ever feel like something vital has been lost in the automotive world? A certain honesty? Remember a time before touchscreens controlled everything? Before a symphony of sensors and digital nannies dictated your every move? We're talking about an era when utility wasn't just a marketing buzzword, but a promise forged in steel. An era when engineers, not accountants, had the final say. Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're taking a journey back to the 1990 seconds, a golden decade for the sport utility vehicle. This was the decade the SUV truly came of age, but before it went soft, we're not talking about the glorified station wagons and pavement princesses of today. We're talking about legends, vehicles with a mechanical soul, built with a stubborn refusal to die. These are the trucks whose rust patterns tell more stories than the entire service history of a modern crossover. So, buckle up. We're counting down 10 of the most indestructible, over-engineered, and downright immortal SUVs of the 1990 seconds. These are the last true survivors. Number 10, the unstoppable behemoth, Chevrolet Suburban. It's impossible to picture 1990 seconds America without this titan casting its long shadow over the landscape. The Chevrolet Suburban wasn't just a vehicle, it was a declaration. It was the undisputed king of the carpool lane, the champion of the family road trip, and the golden ticket for anyone with a big family, a big boat, or simply a big presence. Stepping inside one today feels like entering a time capsule. The dashboard is a vast expanse of hard, unapologetic plastic. The cup holders look like they were designed during a coffee break with a McDonald's Happy Meal engineer. But here's the beautiful truth. Nobody cared. In the 90 seconds, families weren't seduced by piano black trim or ambient lighting. They craved one thing above all else: space. And the Suburban delivered it on a biblical scale. 3 rows of genuinely usable seating meant you could pack in the entire family, the dog, half the soccer team, and still have room for grudges to form and dissipate on long journeys. Behind that 3rd row, a cargo hold so cavernous it could swallow a month's worth of groceries, camping gear for a week, and the emotional baggage of a teenager, all without breaking a sweat. It was the definition of magnificent practicality. But what elevated the Suburban from a mere people hauler to an immortal legend was its mechanical heartbeat. Nestled under that colossal hood was, most often, the venerable 5.7-liter V8 small block, the legendary Vortec. This engine is a masterpiece of simplicity and strength. No fussy turbos waiting to fail, no complex hybrid systems to baffle future mechanics. Just pure, unadulterated, old-school displacement. It was an engine designed with one mission: to run, and keep on running. Owners regularly watched their odometers roll past 200,000, 300,000, and even 400,000 miles, often while dragging a heavy trailer its entire life. For mechanics, it was a dream, simple, accessible, and built to withstand a level of neglect that would kill a modern engine in an instant. Yes, the fuel economy was atrocious. You measured it in miles per gallon. Not miles, but families didn't buy a Suburban to save money at the pump. They bought it for the priceless peace of mind that came with knowing it would simply never let them down. Number 9. The Velvet Sledgehammer, Lincoln Navigator. While the Suburban was mastering utilitarian dominance, Lincoln was plotting a revolution. The result was the 1997 Navigator, a vehicle that sent a seismic shockwave through the luxury automotive world. It was the SUV that proved, once and for all, that immense size and rugged capability didn't have to come at the expense of opulence. Ford's executives asked a simple question: what if we took our tough-as-nails Ford Expedition and dressed it in a tuxedo? The answer was a resounding success that redefined American luxury. The Navigator didn't just sell, it conquered, helping Lincoln outsell its arch-rival Cadillac for the first time since the Second World War. Suddenly, this rolling monument to excess was the must-have accessory for every celebrity, athlete, and captain of industry. But here's where the Navigator separated itself from fragile fashion statements. Beneath the glittering chrome and sumptuous leather was the soul of a workhorse. It was built like a vault. Its heart was Ford's formidable 5.4-liter Triton V8, an engine celebrated for its smooth power delivery and sheer indestructibility. With its solid iron block and robust overhead cam design, this power plant was barely stressed by the Navigator's immense weight. It wasn't uncommon for these velvet sledgehammers to sail past 250,000 miles with just routine maintenance, their engines purring as contentedly as the day they left the factory. And the toughness was more than just engine deep. The entire foundation, the transmission, the body-on-frame construction was lifted directly from Ford's battle-tested F-Series truck line. This meant that after dropping the kids off at their private school, you could genuinely tow a 7,000-pound boat to the lake without the vehicle even blinking. It was this incredible duality, this fusion of brute strength and refined luxury, that made the first-generation Navigator an icon. It was a vehicle that could navigate a construction site by day and pull up to a red carpet event by night, looking perfectly at home in both worlds. Number 8. The overlooked underdog, Mercury Mountaineer. Let's be honest, the Mercury Mountaineer was the automotive equivalent of getting the same toy as your older sibling, just in a different box. Underneath its slightly more distinguished badge, this SUV was, for all intents and purposes, a Ford Explorer wearing a slightly nicer suit. And yet, dismissing it as mere badge engineering would be a grave mistake. Because when your DNA comes from the best-selling and incredibly rugged Ford Explorer of the 1,990 seconds, you're starting from a position of immense strength. Launched in 1997, the Mountaineer was Mercury's attempt to offer a more upscale alternative. This translated to a unique grille, a few extra splashes of chrome, and, well, that was about it. But while it never achieved the rock star status of its Ford sibling, the Mountaineer quietly forged its own legacy in the shadows, a legacy of relentless, unyielding durability. Early models were exclusively equipped with Ford's bulletproof 5-liter V8, a legendary pushrod engine that could shrug off abuse, tow heavy loads, and rack up astronomical mileage without complaint. Later, the equally durable 4-liter Cologne V6 joined the roster. Owners soon discovered the Mountaineer's secret. Feed it clean oil and fresh transmission fluid, and it would reward you with decades of service. Hitting 250,000 or 300,000 miles wasn't an achievement. It was an expectation. This wasn't magic. It was the beauty of simple, overbuilt engineering. A rugged body on-frame chassis, a stout 4-wheel drive system, and a suspension designed to absorb the pockmarked reality of American roads meant it could endure years of punishment. The Mountaineer is the quiet hero of our list, the SUV that proved you don't need the flashiest badge to be the last one standing. Number 7. The trail-forged icon, Jeep Cherokee XJ. Some vehicles follow trends, others create them. The Jeep Cherokee XJ didn't just join the 1,990 seconds SUV party, it was the one that wrote the invitations and defined the playlist. Born in the mid-80 seconds, its design was so fundamentally right that it soldiered on for nearly 2 decades with only minor tweaks. The XJ's philosophy was simple. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Just keep building one of the most capable vehicles on the planet. The secret to its indestructibility started with its very bones. While most rivals clung to the traditional, heavy body-on-frame design, Jeep pioneered a revolutionary unibody construction. This made the XJ lighter, stiffer, and astonishingly resilient on punishing off-road trails. It was a design that was decades ahead of its time. But the true crown jewel, the heart of the XJ legend, was the engine, the immortal 4-liter inline-6. If there were a Hall of Fame for engines, this AMC-derived masterpiece would have its own wing. Pumping out a healthy 190 horsepower and a river of low-end torque, it was the perfect partner for Jeep's bulletproof Command Track and Select Track 4-wheel drive systems. Talk to any mechanic, and they'll speak of this engine in hushed, reverent tones. It was allergic to failure. Its cast-iron construction and simple, robust design meant it could withstand incredible neglect. These engines didn't just hit 300,000 miles, they treated it as a break-in period. Stories of XJs with 400,000 or even 500,000 miles on the original motor are not just common, they are a testament to its legendary engineering. The Cherokee XJ wasn't just an SUV, it was a tool, a trusted companion, and a symbol of go-anywhere freedom that has yet to be replicated. Number 6. The global workhorse Toyota Land Cruiser 80 Series. Ask any seasoned mechanic, aid worker, or desert explorer to name the most reliable vehicle ever made, and you'll likely get a 2-word answer delivered with a knowing smirk. Land Cruiser. It's a reputation earned not through slick marketing, but through decades of unfailing service in the most inhospitable corners of the globe. And the 80 series, which reigned through the 1,990 seconds, is the model that cemented that legend in stone. This was the generation where the Land Cruiser evolved. Toyota realized that the same person who needed to cross the Sahara Desert might also need to pick up groceries in comfort. So, they performed a miracle. They added a layer of refinement and comfort without sacrificing an ounce of its legendary toughness. The ride became smoother, the interior became more civilized, but underneath, it was still an unstoppable force of nature. It was like putting a grizzled war hero in a finely tailored suit. The sophistication was there, but you could still see the iron will in its eyes. Toyota's genius was in its over-engineering. Every component was built to a standard that bordered on absurd. The US models featured the 1FZ-FE, a massive 4.5-liter gasoline inline-six that, while thirsty, was known to be virtually unkillable. In other parts of the world, legendary diesels like the 1 Hertz were powering these trucks to 1,000,000 miles and beyond. But the real magic lay in the chassis and drivetrain. With its solid front and rear axles and available triple locking differentials, an 80 series could claw its way over obstacles that would leave lesser SUVs in pieces. Toyota also finally conquered its old Achilles heel, rust. The 80 series was built with better materials and superior protection, ensuring the body would last as long as the immortal mechanicals. It wasn't just a vehicle, it was a legacy on wheels. Number 5. The People's Champion, Toyota 4Runner, 3rd Gen. If the Land Cruiser was Toyota's heavyweight champion, the 3rd generation 4Runner was its incredibly popular, impossibly tough middleweight contender. Produced from 1996 to 2002, this 4Runner wasn't just an improvement on its predecessor, it was a complete and total redemption. Toyota took the lessons from the 2nd gen's shortcomings and responded by creating what many still consider to be the best all-around SUV ever built. They didn't just build it well, they overbuilt it with the apparent goal of creating a 100-year vehicle. The transformation began with the engine. Gone were the issues of the past, replaced by the legendary 3.4-liter 5VZ-FE V6. This engine is pure automotive folklore. Smooth, torquey, and so catastrophically reliable that the word unkillable seems permanently etched on its valve covers. Pushing these motors past 300,000 miles requires nothing more than following the basic maintenance schedule. It is, simply put, one of the most durable V6 engines ever made. But Toyota knew an immortal engine needs an equally immortal body. The 3rd Gen 4Runner was built on a rugged body on-frame chassis derived from the Tacoma pickup, giving it a backbone of solid steel. The suspension was a perfect blend of on-road comfort and off-road articulation. And with the available factory rear electronic locking differential, it became a giant slayer on the trails, capable of tackling terrain far more extreme than its modest appearance would suggest. Step inside, and you won't find flimsy plastics or deteriorating fabrics. The interior was simple, ergonomic, and constructed with materials designed to withstand decades of use. The 3rd Gen 4Runner represents a high-water mark in automotive manufacturing, a time when quality, durability, and capability were the ultimate priorities. Number 4. The uncompromising off-roader, Nissan Patrol, its 60. In a world that was slowly beginning to soften its SUVs, the Nissan Patrol stood as a defiant, square-jawed monument to pure, unadulterated toughness. Fresh off a class victory in the grueling Dakar Rally, the Y60 Patrol entered the 1,990 seconds with a reputation forged in the harshest environments on Earth. This was not a truck for the mall parking lot. This was the vehicle you chose when the road ended and the real adventure began. Its design was a study in brutalist function, a boxy, upright filing cabinet on wheels. But that shape wasn't a lack of style, it was a statement of purpose. With towering ground clearance and aggressive approach angles, the Patrol was built to conquer nature, not just commute through it. The true soul of the Patrol was found under its hood, particularly in its range of legendary diesel engines. The crown jewel was the TD42, a 4.2-liter inline-six diesel so robust it earned the loving nickname, the Million-Kilometer Motor. This wasn't marketing hyperbole. It was a field-tested reality. The secret was its magnificent over-engineering, a gear-driven timing system instead of a belt or chain, a low-stress design, and a near-total absence of fragile electronics. It was a mechanical masterpiece built to be repaired with simple tools in the middle of nowhere. That toughness permeated every inch of the vehicle. Nissan equipped the Patrol with solid axles, front and rear, for maximum durability and articulation, along with a suspension system that treated boulders like minor inconveniences. In places like Australia and the Middle East, the Patrol wasn't just an SUV, it was an essential piece of survival equipment. It didn't just survive the 90 seconds, it set a benchmark for ruggedness that few have ever dared to match. Number 3. The Swiss Army Knife, Isuzu Trooper. Have you ever seen a vehicle that looked vaguely familiar, but you just couldn't place it? Chances are, you might have been looking at an Isuzu Trooper in disguise. This SUV was the Zelig of the automotive world, rebadged and sold by everyone from Honda and Acura to Opel and Holden. And there's a simple reason why everyone wanted to copy Isuzu's homework. They had aced the test. The Trooper was a brilliantly designed, no-nonsense, bulletproof machine that became one of the best-kept secrets of the 1,990 seconds. It's designed with a ruler, aesthetics gave it a commanding presence, and more importantly, a cavernous interior with panoramic visibility. But the Trooper's genius was its versatility. You could get it with a gas or diesel engine, in a short or long wheelbase, with a manual or automatic transmission. It was an SUV buffet. But here's the clever part that set it apart from many of its rugged rivals. Isuzu fitted the Trooper with an independent front suspension. This gave it a surprisingly smooth and comfortable ride on the highway, making it a far more livable daily driver than many of its solid axle competitors. It was the perfect compromise, trail tough for the weekend, but civilized enough for the Monday to Friday grind. And at the heart of its appeal was, once again, reliability. The second-generation models featured a rock-solid 3.2-liter V6 that was famously allergic to dying, with owners routinely surpassing 300,000 miles with little more than basic care. The Trooper was the intelligent, practical choice for those who knew. Number 2. The quirky survivor, Subaru Forester. As the 90 seconds SUV craze hit its peak, most manufacturers followed a simple formula: build it big, build it tall. But Subaru, ever the iconoclast, took a different path. They unveiled the Forester, a vehicle that defied easy categorization. It wasn't quite a car, and it wasn't quite a traditional SUV. It was a Subaru. And while its boxy, unconventional looks didn't win any beauty contests, the Forester's brilliance lay beneath the surface. Subaru wasn't selling fashion, they were selling intelligent survival. The key to its unique character was the Subaru Boxer engine. By laying the cylinders flat, the engine sat much lower in the chassis, giving the Forester a center of gravity that its top-heavy rivals could only dream of. The result? It handled like a car, carving through corners with a stability that was unheard of in an SUV of the era. It was practical and capable, but without the clumsy, truck-like demeanor. Now, we must address the elephant in the room: the infamous head gasket issue that affected some early models. It's a story every Subaru enthusiast knows. But here's the fascinating epilogue to that story. For owners who addressed the issue properly with upgraded gaskets, the engine became virtually immortal. It was as if the Forester had to pass one great trial by fire, and once it survived, it was granted eternal life. Owners who performed this rite of passage were rewarded with 250,000, 300,000, or more miles of faithful service. Combine that engine longevity with Subaru's legendary standard symmetrical all-wheel drive, and you had a quirky, intelligent, and incredibly resilient vehicle that became a hero in snowy climates and a cult classic for those who valued substance over style. Number 1. The apocalypse-proof legend, Mercedes-Benz G-Class. Our journey ends here, with a vehicle that is less an SUV and more a rolling contradiction. A machine born from a suggestion by the Shah of Iran for military use, which somehow became the ultimate symbol of Beverly Hills status. This is the Mercedes-Benz G-Wagon. And in the 1,990 seconds, it was living a fascinating double life. On the outside, it retained its utilitarian, hand-built, military-grade form, a brutally effective brick designed to be as aerodynamic as a refrigerator. But on the inside, Mercedes was slowly infusing it with the luxury befitting its three-pointed star. This created a vehicle unlike any other, a battlefield brute wrapped in a velvet glove. But make no mistake, Its reputation for being utterly bulletproof was no mere byproduct of its image. It was earned through staggering levels of over-engineering. Under the hood, Mercedes offered engines designed for longevity above all else, like the near-indestructible 3-liter diesel, which was capable of running for well over 400,000 miles with basic care. The true source of its godlike capability, however, was its drivetrain. Full-time four-wheel drive paired with a rugged ladder frame chassis, and this is the crucial part. 3. Fully locking differentials. This meant that a driver could force equal power to all four wheels simultaneously, allowing the G-Wagon to crawl out of situations that would leave virtually any other vehicle hopelessly stranded. Its solid axles were unsophisticated but indestructible. Every weld, every component felt as if it were built not just for a lifetime, but for several. The G-Wagon wasn't built to a price, it was built to a standard that assumed the apocalypse was just around the corner, and you needed to be able to drive through it. It is, without a doubt, one of the toughest, most capable, and most legendary vehicles ever put on four wheels. And there you have it, 10 Titans from the 1,990 seconds, each a masterclass in durability and a testament to an era when built to last was more than just a slogan. From the suburban conqueror to the apocalypse-proof fortress, these are the SUVs that have rightfully earned their place in automotive history. But this is where the story gets even better, because it continues with you. Many of you watching have likely owned, or perhaps still own, one of these incredible machines. You have the real-world stories, the cross-country adventures, the breakdowns you fixed with a wrench, and some grit. So, we want to hear from you. Head down to the comments and share your experience. Which of these legends have you driven? What's your favorite memory? Your stories are what make this community so special. If you enjoyed this trip back in time and want more content celebrating the greatest vehicles ever made, do us a huge favor and hit that like button. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel and ring the bell so you never miss another journey into automotive history. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you on the next one.